As you can probably tell, I messed up. Big time. I did this amazing interview, and when I came home I realised that the audio was not connected and therefore the whole interview was unsalvageable. So, let's try this again. Take 2. Welcome back. Today I'm here at Mussett Holdings with Will, where they do everything from chickens, egg production from chickens, market garden, mushrooms, they have Jersey cows, they have everything. It's absolutely amazing. So Will, we are currently standing in your market garden. Tell me, what do you grow around here?
Basically we grow a full range of vegetables, anything from broccoli to lettuces, carrots, herbs and potatoes. So there's a bit of everything.
Last time I was here, you showed me that you do mushroom compost. Is that the only compost that you put on your soil?
Mushroom compost is the main one that we'll top up in between crops, but we also make a compost tea out of worm castings.
Shall we
go for a walk?
Go for a walk, yeah.
Let's go for a walk. I can't remember what this looked like when you were last here. It changes so quickly.
There's a lot of new things, yeah.
Yeah, so there's all the broccoli's all side shooted, so it's just about ready to harvest. There's your bok choy.
Bok choy.
Yeah, so there's leeks. This row of celery is almost done. Did I give you a taste of this last time?
This is the mustard or wasabi?
Yeah, well, both.
Oh, okay.
Both, yes. That's your wasabi leaf. Go on.
Okay, thank you. It's delicious.
Yep. So I'll give you a few of the really strong flavoured ones. So that one's got a good...
It does have a little kick.
A good bit of wasabi sort of flavour to it. Try that one. And that one. That's your rocket.
That's rocket,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all of them got lots of flavour.
They do.
Yeah.
I kind of like the spicy one.
You mean the first one?
Yeah.
The other one, if I remember correctly, particularly liked, was the Japanese salad turnip.
That's my favourite.
Yep. Well, it's still a little dirty from the rain.
Definitely going to have to get some seeds of these.
Yeah. I may even be able to send you back with some if you like. Nothing wrong with a little bit of dirt. Still good.
These are terrific.
We're going to go and pick, because they love it as a treat.
Oh yeah?
We're going to go and pick some of the broccoli leaves, those sort of outer ones that aren't really necessary for the plant to keep growing. But they love them, and they're really big and juicy. They think it's fantastic. So what we'll do, ones like this, we'll get down to the base here and snap them off. Yeah. These guys are almost done. These are side shooting broccoli, so we've already harvested the main head, and you can see all these lovely little side shoots here.
Yeah. So
they're almost finished, and then once that's done, it will be time to replant. But grab ourselves a handful of these.
Okay, if I can.
That's all right.
Vegetables?
If you finish that, don't worry. Chuck it in that pile there. It'll all go to the worms.
Oh, okay.
All right, Chilli, you're on.
Oh, my cow call?
Yeah, your cow call.
Oh, I didn't practice.
Oh, no. Oh, well, that's all right.
Come on! Do I have to say it differently?
No.
Just come on?
Just,
the
that's
way
it.
I say it?
That's it. And extend the on.
Come on!
That's it. Come on!
Come on!
Oh, goats heard us. Here they come.
While they come, I have a question to you about goats. So we're moving to Tasmania and we found a property and it's half an acre.
Okay.
And we would like to have one goat. Can you have a goat on half an acre? A milking goat?
Yes, but I wouldn't have one.
2?
Yeah.
For friendship?
Yeah, look, they do. They're cheeky. They like to play. It's always better for them to have a friend. Can you do it? Yes. Will you have to supplement feed? Probably. Probably, but that's okay. Like with every goat in every situation, make sure you got good fences.
Yes, I've heard that a lot.
I'm sure you have. Come on! Goats will be stoked because they get a longer period without the cows here bushing them away. We can go for a wander if you want.
Sure.
This is the one fantastic part about particularly boar goats.
Yeah.
You look through here, you won't find any fireweed. You won't see any blackberries. They get rid of all of it. And whatever the goat eats, the seed dies in their stomach. They do not spread.
Nice.
Oh, there's one. Look what Chilli's got for you.
Oh. Okay, they'll be greedy now. Thank
All right.
you.
Yeah.
It's very bony.
Yeah, Jerseys are typically like that. All right, just leave her alone. All of their energy goes into milk production.
Yeah.
So they put very little into body condition. So particularly coming into this season, we'll have to make sure that they're well fed. So memory here, if I wanted her to, she'll give me easily 9 litres a day.
Wow.
If I'm asking her for 9 litres, she's got to be eating a lot of really nutritious food to produce that. So that's then taking away from body condition. So I don't need 9 litres.
No.
For us, 2-3 litres a week is plenty.
Yeah.
So it's just about juggling, what you need and not taking everything.
How does your pastures handle with the rain that we've been having?
Well, look, I think once you have that much rain, everything gets a bit boggy.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I don't sow crops. So I let native species flourish behind the chickens.
Yep.
And what I will do is I will put out some seed just to create diversity, is what I'm really after.
Yeah.
So about this time of year, I'm even actually a little bit late, I will sow a forage radish, a turnip, some vetch, and a few other clovers, just for a bit of diversity. Not as I'm not sowing paddocks to then cut hay.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for mass oats or anything like that. So it's more, the more diversity, particularly those forage radishes and the turnips.
Yep.
The turnips are good for the cattle, but the radish is amazing to punch down. I'm trying to get them to break compaction.
Yeah.
And they're just this phenomenal plant that will send that big radish down and crack into the clay layer.
Do you ever have to supplement with hay, or are your pastures doing well enough?
I guess because of how we rotate and what animals we have and how many, I haven't had to do that because I don't overstock.
Yep.
The chickens are driving the fertility, so that constant rotation. So you can see that they've been in that area a couple of weeks ago. And once a lot of this excess water drains off, then that ground will explode. I only have a handful of other animals for maintenance of the property, not as a business unit. So I don't run, 50 head of sheep to make money on them. They're just here for maintenance, just like the goats.
So last time we were here, we were talking about chickens and heritage chickens and even geese.
Yeah.
So because it wasn't recorded on audio properly, I didn't get that. Can you talk to the camera? Well, the people behind the camera, the people watching, can you tell them? Because I was really interested in heritage chickens and...
Yeah, look, I guess the ideal scenario would be able to do heritage layers. They're, generally speaking, they're a bit sturdier in the outdoor environment. They're more adaptable to natural forage. You will get less eggs, but if you suit your business model around that, then it doesn't matter. The trickiest part is nobody breeds large numbers of heritage birds for egg laying. There are some for meat production, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't a facility doing that. The ideal thing, as you referred to, is really, I'd like to get to geese, mainly because their manure in the paddocks is a bit more balanced. So chickens is great, but geese has a bit more natural phosphorus.
Yeah.
Which means we have to do, less supplementation to the ground. This particular flock is guarded by Heidi. She's my young female guard dog.
Yep.
Owen, who you can see just on the other side of the fence, is not meant to be in that paddock, but he knows she's here. So he's worked out he can actually jump the fence. So he comes and visits every day, which I don't mind. He doesn't actually come in here, which is good. But as long as he goes back of a night time, because he does have a job to do, which he does. You can see how quickly, see this area where it's obviously got a bit wet.
Yeah.
See how quickly those chickens, that is days. They've turned that to mud really fast. So this afternoon, these girls will get moved to the next spot to go further around the dam. So when it's really wet, I'm actually moving them faster.
Oopsie.
Yes, they should know better by now. They know the fence is electric.
Yeah. How often do you get hawk attacks or eagle attacks?
Because the dogs are here,
Yeah.
I don't. Prior to having dogs, when I was actually using alpacas, eagles would come, wedge-tailed eagles would come almost once a day. I couldn't do this without those dogs. There's no way. Between foxes and eagles. Hey, settle. He just wants to say hello.
Hello.
Good boy. Heidi, it's all right. You don't need to get jealous.
It's humongous.
He's big and he's fast. There's times there where he will kill a fox a month. You can actually catch him.
Nice.
I don't know how he does it, but he manages to.
So, did you watch all the episodes of the Clarkson Farm, at least the mushroom episodes?
I've only just watched the second one where he's got mushrooms in it.
Okay, because when I saw he was harvesting them, they looked a bit late. Did
They're
they?
way too late.
That's what I thought.
Way too late. Look, it's one of these things when you like we've built 5 mushroom grow rooms now, all different setups.
Yep.
And we made the same design mistake for the first one.
Oh, okay.
And that's why his fans, everything sort of
Yeah.
went bad and contaminated. Growing mushrooms is not difficult. The equipment is not complicated. How you balance the room, how your air is flowing, the humidity interacting with that is the hard part. That is the really hard part. Okay. And being consistent. Some mushrooms want less humidity, a little bit less oxygen, more CO2. So you put them in different positions in the room. Some mushrooms want air being blown across them, never strong. Other mushrooms hate that.
Okay.
So you're constantly balancing conditions and which is happy with what. So there's your white oyster getting towards full size. Not too far away, but not ready yet. But something like this will be ready later on tonight.
Yep.
So fast. As Jeremy Clarkson found out, very fast.
So these are all oysters in here?
So in this room, apart from the pepinos you just saw up the top,
Yep.
this is all white and blue oyster. Because all of these want the same sort of conditions. They're very similar species. So they like the same. They like it about, for me, I run this at about 14 to 15 degrees at this time of year. Okay. And that's when I get the best colouring and the densest mushrooms. This one 40-foot shipping container can produce up to 200 kilos of fresh mushrooms a week. So these are your lion's mane. Almost full size, getting there. Lion's mane's a little bit slower, so this has probably got this one's probably only got another day. The other one's maybe a little bit more. So you can see it's just starting to develop the hairs, and once they really get longer and start to drop, then we know it's pretty much right to go from that point onwards.
And what's in the bag? The wood chips.
Hardwood wood chips, yep. And sometimes a little bit of either wheat bran. You can use lupins for a little bit of nitrogen, but you don't want too much, otherwise you're encouraging mold to grow. So you want to feed the mushrooms, which they want that sawdust, cellulose to colonise, and then just a little bit of nutrition to pick them up to get actual volume of mushroom. Okay. Very simple ingredients. So all of this stuff in here, if that was uncolonised, I don't have any in here that are uncolonised, but this would be a dark brown, like a wet sawdust. Look.
Yes.
Because the white is all the mycelium. So that is the organism itself. Whereas mushroom is just its way of reproducing. It's just a fruiting body. So
how hard is it to make your own packages? You buy these from someone?
I'd now get them made. We were making them,
but
because we are off-grid,
yeah,
my power is limited. So I've got to sort of assess what I can put power to, knowing that I've got so many daylight hours. If there's no wind, we've got the big wind turbine. If there's no wind, my power is limited. I have to run a big cool room, obviously, because we're producing a food product.
Yes.
So it must be cold stored. That has to take priority over everything. When it was smaller numbers of blocks, we were making them ourselves, and you can steam them, which is what we do, which I like the steam pasteurisation better than the lime pasteurisation.
Okay.
Now, because we then reuse these out in the garden, if I use lime pasteurisation, the pH of the material goes up a lot. And I can throw the pH of the garden out.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather steam them. So that's a boiler unit. So it's an old steam boiler from a timber kiln. So we've turned it from gas into a wood-fired gasification boiler because it has the internal jacket. So this will superheat a lot of water and in a very short amount of time. So that's what we use these old electric hot water systems for. They're not plugged in to anything really. All they are there is to store the masses of hot water that this produces, and then the system manages its own distribution. So if one room needs a bit of heat, the thermostat will open up a solenoid valve and let hot water from the tanks flow into the room, heat the room, and then shut off when it's at temperature.
Perfect.
So it uses very little, the same electricity as a light globe to heat all of these rooms. So it is my option as an off-grid farm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is your pumpkin patch still alive?
Oh yeah, so they are everywhere. So you can see some of the vines are still, like that's still a bit green.
Green.
Normally we wouldn't touch that yet. I suspect I've got quite a few hybrids too.
Oh.
Because there's so many varieties here.
Right.
There's more of those French ones.
Holy moly.
Still sounds all right. So you can see the stem is still
green.
Still green. So I'll let it keep going. And this will get fed to the animals. There you go.
Oh.
Pumpkin soup.
Oh, thank you.
So this in here is a bit of an experiment to see if those mushroom blocks, once they've had 2 fruits inside, to see if they will still give me a 3rd fruit in a more open, natural environment.
And it's working.
It is working. So we've put a bunch of different varieties in here just to see what's happier to grow. So obviously I'm not controlling temperature in here at all.
No.
I'm not even controlling humidity. All I'm doing is reducing the amount of light because they don't want too much light. They just want indirect light. So you can imagine in the forest, canopy above, there's light.
Yeah.
Just not direct light. The one thing we have noticed is things like the golden oyster. That is a much stronger yellow than I can get indoors. I mean, obviously these are blocks that have already had 2 fruits. So they've got a lot less energy in them than when you were starting from scratch. All the mushroom growers I talk to say the very best mushrooms they've ever grown have been in the compost pile when the weather's been just perfect.
I know we talked about this before.
That's okay.
But let's go over it again.
Yep.
What kind of bees do you keep?
They are your standard honey-producing European bee. Look, I mean, I know we touched on this last time, but you know, the whole varroa mite issue might, you know, sort of change us on that. It doesn't, at the moment, appear to be a natural defense for the varroa mite, other than maintaining a very healthy hive, but you know, that a lot of that is condition-based.
How far away do you know of varroa mites from your farm?
20 kilometres.
Europe has varroa mites. How do they deal with them then?
Look, I stand to be corrected, but at the moment, as far as I'm aware, there is a monthly fumigation regime to get on top of it.
Nasty.
It doesn't sound like something that I'd be willing to do.
Well, I remember I told you last time, but for the audience, that there was that mountain mint, that the bees, they go to it and some chemical, what was it? Camphor oil, that's it. They rub on the mountain mint and then it repels the varroa mites. So
Yep.
maybe growing some herbs around the hive would help, maybe?
All for it. It's something, I need to do a lot more research into what the alternative options are. I'm really hoping there's some good ones.
Well, thank you for showing me again.
That's okay.
I love this farm, really. It's a big inspiration for me. Thank
We
you for
enjoyed
taking the time again to answer these questions for me and the people watching on YouTube.
Thanks for coming.
Hopefully they can somehow grab your produce, your mushrooms, or if they're in Australia, New South Wales. Where can we find you?
We do have people come direct to the farm here in the Southern Highlands. I supply a lot of restaurants in Sydney, some through wholesalers. We do have some retail outlets in Sydney. Feather and Bone, who you've already been to,
Yes.
have been a big supporter of ours for a long time, and really appreciate those guys. Yeah, we're around.
Okay. Thank you for watching to the end of my video. Don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.